having a heat wave. Well, a heat surge. I don't know. It might be a tough week though for your pets with this heat, of course. They can get overheated in a hurry when you take them out for a walk, so don't go very far. Be mindful of the warm pavement, etc. Later this week, and actually it's probably already started, I heard a lot over the weekend already, fireworks putting your pets on edge. A lot going on this week, so joining us now to talk about it, Liv Hagen, Director of Animal Welfare at the Animal Humane Society. Thank you for being with us. Who do you have with you today?
Yeah, great to be with you. I have Nina. She is like 130 pounds of lapdog. She is a Great Dane Mastiff mix, but super gentle, super loving, super snuggly, and is just loving having some snacks hanging out here in the air conditioning.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, indoors rather than outdoors. I would imagine a dog of that size going outside today. Maybe, correct me if I'm wrong on this, I just assume a large dog like that is going to have a harder time or at least a shorter duration in this heat than a smaller dog. But I don't know, is that a myth or is there something to that?
That's a great question. It depends on a lot of things. So any dog is going to have trouble in this high heat, right? They don't want to be out in it, exercising in it. They can get overheated very, very quickly, right? They pant to cool off, just like how we sweat to cool. So that really relies on that evaporative heat loss. And so if a dog is panting and they don't have a cool breeze, or, that humidity is sort of hitting their mouths as fast as they're trying to breathe out, their internal temperature is going to rise, and it's going to rise very, very fast. But smaller dogs, especially those that we call brachiocephalic, or the dogs with the short noses, so think pugs, Boston Terriers, bulldogs, dogs that have, some struggles with their airways if they get really excited anyways. Also very important to be extra mindful of them being out in this heat as well.
So if you're taking your dog, and you will be taking your dog on a walk, and I know pet owners go through this every year, so they're familiar with it, but beyond the obvious, shorten the walk. Be careful of hot pavement. Any other things that people, should be aware of that maybe they hadn't thought of?
Yes, if you regularly go on, say, a nice long 30-minute walk with your dog, shorten it even more to just brief potty breaks. Because even if you have a dog that is fit in shape, regularly goes outside and exercises with you, it's going to be a lot harder for them in this heat. They don't want to do it. I know a lot of dogs are creatures of routine. They love their outdoor time that they look forward to. Get that done early in the morning. I'm talking like 5, 6 in the morning, right before the sun even comes up. Certainly before the heat of the day. If you're going to walk your dog, get outside before it's just that really, truly oppressive heat that we're all feeling now. So get outside early. And that pavement, a lot of us forget about it because we run outside with our shoes on, but especially a blacktop, concrete, even though it's light colored, it can get very hot. Run out in your bare feet. If it's too hot for your bare feet, it's too hot for your dog's paw pads. They can get burned.
Yeah. A lot of us, pay attention to our dogs when we're taking them for a walk and how they're doing, how they're panting. But it's not like they're going to tell you, hey, I need to stop and go home right now. You need to be watching for them because it might be just overexertion by the time that they just want to stop. I mean, right? I mean, you have to pay more attention to them because they're not going to just go home right away.
Right. Especially if you have a dog that is one of those go, go, go dogs that whatever you're doing, they want to be right there with you. They're going to go, okay, we're going on a walk. Let's go. So be aware, yes, of that heavy breathing. If their saliva becomes thick or ropey, that's a good indication that they're maybe getting a little bit dehydrated, that they're getting too hot. Heavy labored breathing. If they're slowing down, they seem maybe a little dumpy, kind of slow. Certainly if your dog seems lethargic at all, that's when it goes into a medical emergency. And that can happen very, very quickly. So be aware of those signs, that heavier breathing, maybe they're going a little bit slower. But if you notice your dog lays down and they have trouble getting up, they're not breathing very well. Their gums have become very light in color instead of that nice pink color. Those are all signs that your dog may be headed for a medical emergency and you need to actually seek veterinary care.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the anxiety emergency of the coming days. I heard a number of fireworks already over the weekend, last night. We no longer have our dog. We have a cat. And we heard some fireworks last night. The cat just kind of like perked up and looked around. And I was joking, you know, if we still had our dog, he'd be behind the toilet already.
Right, just heading for the hills, right?
Yeah, I mean, gone. So much anxiety. What can you do to try to maybe desensitize them to that?
Yeah, and you're right. It starts like now, right? The week before the 4th of July leading up to it. It's not just the July 4th fireworks. It's all the activity, all of the fireworks, maybe even the gatherings that happen leading up to that. And so you can absolutely desensitize your animals, not just dogs, but cats too. Some people have a cat that, maybe also finds the safe place in the back of the closet to go.
Oh, treat time.
By playing,
treat time. There we go.
but yeah,
Yep.
I know. I stalled. She's like, hey, keep those coming. If you are able to start playing those sounds on your phone at a very low sound level, give your dog treats, just like I'm doing now with Nina. If we were going to be desensitizing Nina to fireworks, I'd be playing sounds. YouTube, anything that you can find. Firework sounds start very low, because what that actually does is it changes the association in the dog's brain to become positive. Now, this is something though that we need to start and do over a couple weeks of time. And so here that, we're a couple of days before the fireworks, we're already hearing fireworks going off. It's getting too late for that desensitization. Now we need to go into our management plan. So our management plan being keep your pet as far away from that perceived threat. So we know that fireworks aren't a threat, they're fun. From an animal's perspective, not the case, right? That's something very scary and very different. So provide a sanctuary room, a dark space where they can go. Maybe a lamp is on. A sound machine is a really great way to drown out some external noise. Mom hack, if you get a sound machine on Amazon, the ones that are electric that plug into the wall go louder usually than the ones that are battery operated. So if you get the battery operated ones, the rechargeable, you might need a couple, invest in a couple of them. Turn the TV on, maybe some music, any sort of background noise that your pet is very useful to drown out some of those scarier noises outside. And of course, if you're one of those you have one of those extremely nervous pets, oh my gosh, they're drooling, they're shaking, they just can't cope, talk to your veterinarian, because there's medications that can be used for these events that can really, really help.
Yeah, don't be afraid to go that route if necessary. One
Yes.
last thing here, when you talk about, it's very interesting, the desensitization. Play these firework noises while giving them treats to get a positive association. But does that mean that suddenly your dog's going to be overdosing on treats over the 4th of July weekend because they're going to expect so many? I mean, how do you then manage that?
Yes, fantastic question. So we're talking about desensitization over time and using high value treats. So usually we recommend using hot dogs, string cheese, chicken, something really, really smelling that can be a little bit higher in calorie. So always good to keep in mind how many treats you're feeding. Some dogs just love their kibble. They go crazy for their food. You can actually use their food as part of their training program. And so we're talking just a few treats a couple times a day, gradually increasing that volume up until the time of the 4th of July. And now the idea is that, yes, if they hear fireworks, maybe they're going to come to you and say, hey, I hear something that, right, treat time, that means something good. And if it's just situational like this, that's okay, right? We're just looking at getting our pets through these really scary couple of days and couple of weeks. And so if you find that you're increasing your treats, again, talk with your vet if weight is a concern, if your dog especially is a little bit smaller or one of those dogs that are a little bit more prone to being overweight. It's a great conversation to have with your veterinarian first. But them looking to you for a treat for fireworks instead of, running and shaking in the back of the bathroom somewhere, isn't that wonderful if you're able to change that association? But we're really working on the chemistry of the brain as well when we're doing this. So for some dogs, they might really create that pairing. They might hear a firework and go, oh, I get a treat. For other pets, it might be more of a true desensitization, which is where the chemistry in their brain is simply becoming less fearful to whatever is happening when they're getting those high value treats. So that's the benefit of those using those weeks or even the months up until 4th of July. Hey, start at the end of July this year, start getting ready for next year, right? It's never too soon, especially if you have a pet that's really, really afraid.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Liv Hagen with the Animal Humane Society. Thanks so much. we'll have you on again here too, because at some point we want to get an update on the beagles from Ridgeland Farms. But
Absolutely.
running
Thanks
out of
so much.
time here.
Everybody stay safe. Leave your pet at home for fireworks. They don't want to be there. Even if you want them there with you, they want to be in their safe spot. So pets, leave them home. Don't bring them to the fireworks show.
Good idea. All right. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.